Recording.
Good morning, everyone. Well, it is morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. My ride home. It looks like I'm stuck behind the truck. And I thought I'd do a quick video. It's more for those who are planning or thinking about buying Kawasaki GTR1400. Or in America, Concours. I mean, I watched tons of videos about this bike before I decided to go for it. And everyone was saying it's a bulletproof bike. It's, well, nothing can possibly go wrong with it. And I can tell you now, it's a bullshit. It can go wrong many things, like on this one. I keep counting problems with it. In a previous video I said about overheating, the radiator leaking, and now I just finished last video, and at the same ride I basically lost clutch, which is hydraulic clutch, and it just went from being alright, but at the same time the engine got quite hot as well, and I presume that's part of the issue. And well, somehow I got home. The clutch was really bad. I mean, I was barely able to switch gears. But I got home and I had a look at it, the little tank, you know, for the brake fluid or clutch fluid, and it was halfway down. And I know I filled it up because I already changed the clutch master cylinder as soon as I bought it, and I changed it because it just started leaking. And I have all these white spots on the black plastic because of the brake fluid being spread all over the bike, and because I ride at night I didn't notice at the time. So the plastics got damaged. I don't know, I might be able to, you know, black it out or something, to put some you know, plastic restorer or to do. I haven't done that yet, but anyways. So I noticed the brake fluid in the clutch cylinder is halfway down. I thought, yeah, that's it. It's leaking somewhere, but it's not leaking from the master cylinder, and the master cylinder is good. I bought it from you know, not new, obviously. The new would cost me a fortune. I bought it from you know, the bike breakers, but this is, I can tell it's from a new model, newer model, the generation 2, because it's clear, and the old one is white, like it's not transparent. So anyway, yeah, so that's done already, and I bled the clutch. Like, I put about almost a liter of that brake fluid through, just to clean it and bleed it and make sure it's all fresh fluid. So what I did, I bled it again, and there was some air again in the system. So now I'm worrying, did I bled it wrong first time, or it's just continuous problem with the slave cylinder, which is in the engine, well, outside of the engine, and it pushes the rod that pushes the clutch. And if that is leaking, it's not leaking outside, it's leaking inside the engine, which is a bit of a problem. I think the brake fluid has ability to damage things. It's quite harsh. But, well, and I know I filled it up to the top for the fluid, and I looked this morning, it's a little bit down, and I done it literally three rides ago. So I went on eBay, ordered obviously second-hand one, ordered them the slave cylinder. So now I'm gonna change the slave cylinder. So all in all, with this bike, I have leaking radiator. I have the clutch problem. Obviously overheating, well, it's not overheating, but it's running hot. And that might be to do with the radiator maybe being, you know, clogged up with the... Because I checked, it looks like it's more water than antifreeze, which is problem, because the well, you shouldn't put water in cooling system. It just damages all the parts, all the, you know, deposits from water, because water nearly gets to you know, boiling temperatures faster than antifreeze, and then it's you know, you get all the residues. So yeah, that's... And now, well, it's not the bike's problem. I mean, the other one is the tires. This bike has Maxxis tires on, right? I had really bad experience with Maxxis tires skidding around on my Suzuki Bandit. I had Suzuki Bandit 650. Not as powerful bike as you know, as this one, but it was skidding everywhere. I mean, a little bit wet, and that's it. The rear is gone. So when I bought this bike, and you know, I looked at the tires, I thought, oh shit. But they looked fairly new, you know. They had plenty of, you know, thread left and no squaring or anything. And I look at it now, and I'd only done 2,000. Well, let's say 2,500 miles on it. The rear tire is as flat as a table. I mean, it's ridiculous. I have never seen tire go flat. I mean, flatting so quick. You know, and the front one looks like blunt end of the axe. You know, also square. Pointy square fucking angles. I'm impressed how bad they are, and I checked on you know, on the internet. They cost quite a lot of money, these particular tires. I'm not saying that this is the newer version of you know, Maxxis. I think Maxxis Diamond or whatever they're called. And oh my god, if I was spend that money on these tires, I would be fuming right now. And the other thing, on the rear, is a 190 tire, 190 wheel. And Kawasaki says, everywhere suggests to use 190 on 50 tire, which is already, you know, flat. And everyone in the forums, everywhere, everyone says just change to 190 by 55 tire, and it's gonna be different bike. And I agree with that, because I had 190 on 55 on my VFR and on BMW K1200, and they are similar size bikes and, you know, similar weight. I never had such an issue. So yeah, I have pair of, well, not new, obviously. I'm living on a budget here, guys, and the budget is tight. I'm not buying new tires. I mean, I do when I need, but I always look for the second-hand options, and you know, and I bought really cheap ones. Avon Storm 3D. Extended mileage ones, and I know they're good tire, and that's a compliment for British make, which I think Avon is an amazing tire, my brand, which is British brand, and well, I live in Britain, and I think Brits should buy Avon tires more, because everywhere I go and meet other bikers and see you know, other bikes, I see Michelin's, Metzler's, I see Pirelli's, and you know, not many Avons. Even on Triumphs, when Triumph should be standard, with Avon tires. Well, here you go. But yeah, so I'm gonna do all jobs at once, and I hopefully gonna do it next week. The radiator gonna be here, the hoses for radiator, which I think also are knackered on this one, and I'm gonna do the clutch slave cylinder. Hopefully this clutch cylinder gonna last till next week, because I'm riding every day, 100 miles per day, and you know, I put up some miles on them. So if you're looking to buy the Kawasaki GTR1400, and if the seller says to you, you know, oh, it's a bulletproof, just tell him it's a bullshit. Nothing is bulletproof. Or maybe there is, which is Honda ST, you know, pan-European. I know those bikes are bulletproofs, but again, I think you can buy one which will have many problems. And now I kind of regret, because for the same money I could gone for BMW K1200 GT, even K1300 GT, if I could find the right one, you know. And I got this one, and it started for first problem after first ride. I noticed the fork seals leaking, and they were leaking so badly that I am sure they were leaking before, not just my first ride. They were leaking before, and that guy just thought, oh, I'll cleaning with a, you know, brake cleaner, make it dry and everything. Because I bought this bike on eBay. I won the auction, and it says everything works, everything is great on this bike. It's just, you know, older model, has 48,000 miles, blah blah blah, you know, bunch of paperwork. I mean, and that's another indication when something, you know, the seller tries to take your eyes from the bike, he will show you a lot of paperwork. And that guy, I went there, that was the first bell in my hand. Why are you showing me all that paperwork before you showing the bike? I need a bike, I don't give a toss about paperwork. I don't care, you can print that anywhere. You know, I'm not that guy who looks at, oh, service history, that means, no, you look at the bike. You look at the bike and then you can say, was it maintained or not? And everybody, oh, it's a high mileage. I love high mileage bikes, because I know they've been ridden. I know the problem's been solved. And I know that, you know, whoever rode it, if you did 50,000 miles on the bike, that means you loved it. You love riding it. And when you got bikes I had before, I'll drop the picture of that. That was Suzuki M800, the cruiser type bike. And that only had something like 16,000 miles on it. And at the first ride, I realized why. Because it's awful to ride. Because, I mean, nothing is right on that bike from the factory. The sitting position, you sitting on your ass all the time, every bump you're feeling with your, you know, spine. And then you go over 70 miles an hour and you're holding to those handlebars to your dear life. Because everything just pulls you off. And I was lucky enough to sell that bike. I mean, I sold it within a month. Because it's just not for me. I thought I'll try, you know, the cruiser type bike, 800cc, good on, you know, good on fuel, for my commuting. There's nothing good about that. And I know why these bikes have so little miles, because, you know, you got bike like that and you think, oh shit, again? I'm gonna ride that thing again? Nah, I skip that off to the pub. You know, and they stand and they rot and they rust and things get clogged up, and you know, no. If you're buying not new bike, it will have miles on. And obviously 100,000 miles for a bike, it might be, you know, the gravestone. But again, for these ones, right, I watch videos about Kawasaki GTR, as I said, and okay, now I got stuck behind this van, and everybody just overtake. You know, and one guy, well, that's in America, but it's called, I think these bikes are more popular in America. They're called Concours, and there are a lot of Americans, well, you know, they like big things with, you know, a lot of power and stuff like that. And you know, and a guy was saying he did 100,000 miles and the engine was still strong, you know, and there's nothing wrong. And I thought, well, this is 48,000, so this is only halfway. It can't be much wrong. But you know, well, it is. So, when anybody says bulletproof, don't believe it. Check it yourself. Check everything yourself. And the test ride is the best thing. I know with test rides on bikes there's a lot of issues, and I don't like test riding somebody's bike, and I don't like if somebody wants to test ride the bike I'm selling. But I do agree that it needed. And I saw a few BMWs. I remember a guy came in on his motorcycle. He said, "Well, look, I'm leaving my bike here. I am fully insured. We're gonna, you know, if I drop it, I'll pay you anyway. I got cash. He showed me the money. You know, I just wanna, you know, ride for a bit, like 5 minutes around the block." And I said, "Yeah, fair enough. Go on." And he went out. He jumped from his Honda VFR 750 on BMW K1200S, and he came back with a biggest smile on his face. And I knew he's happy, he's gonna buy it, because you know the difference is massive between those two bikes. You know, and he left me the money, paid for it, and came on the train next day, collected, all good. You know, well, this is, and I looked at the post at the Facebook. One guy gave you know, keys and bike for a test ride, and he never came back. He basically stole this bike. So also you have to look at the person who is buying. You know, if somebody comes in, 3 guys, 2 in the van, you know, and one comes away, look, I want to try, and they all fucked off. You know, excuse me for language, but you know, that's obvious is something wrong. But if a guy comes in on a bike, on a motorcycle, you got his number plate, you got enough information about it. You can easily give him a test drive. It's obviously down to personal, you know, preferences. But anyway, yeah, there are some stories online about, you know, test rides, you know, going wrong. Bikes get crashed, and you know, people. But there's always. But I wish I was able to test ride this one, because I would notice the brakes, front brakes, being buckled straight away, because that's impossible not to notice. And you know, things like that should be in the advert. Sure, look, the brakes are a bit buckled, a bit vibrating. You know, you're gonna need to change the brake discs. And I would, you know, I probably wouldn't bid that much for it. But if I bid, I know what I'm gonna do. I would probably order straight away new discs. When I got a bike, I changed the discs, and voila, you know. And now I have to change the disc, I have to change the radiator, I have to change the clutch slave cylinder, all the bleeding of, you know, cooling system, all the bleeding of, all the money involved. Obviously, I noticed the leak of the, you know, antifreeze, because a lot of crap behind the radiator, and I said to him, look, that's straight away leak. And he was pretending like, oh, it's never there before, it's probably just a road. the debris, you know, and crap. I said, look, the bike is in a garage. Anything water would dry out straight away. This is not water, this is antifreeze or oil or, you know, whatever. And he was, so I knocked few hundred pound off, which I'm happy I did, because the only radiator cost me just over £100. I paid 50 quid for clutch master cylinder, another 30 quid for clutch slave cylinder, £25 for pipe, for hoses, okay? And the brake discs, front brake discs, the cheapest I sourced online is £150. So, you know, I dropped the price, I negotiated the price less than I will be paying for all the repairs. And, you know, it's not just that. If I'm technically minded, I fix in my own bikes. I don't take to dealers, I change the tires myself. I do basically everything myself. And, you know, if I wasn't, and if I had to take it to dealer or any garage to fix it, that would be not 100, that would be thousands. Because the amount of work involved and the hours you have to pay for labor, and then you get the mechanic to be available to do, because that's all their job. All these jobs is probably more than they, you know. And yeah, I would be gutted. Anyway, if you're looking for one, watch this video first. Have a good ride, have a safe ride, and see you. And don't forget, subscribe, and also check the mymoto.world, brand new motorcyclist social media site. See you there.